Hello, today I'm doing the musical OC thing and jumping right into it. This is the part where I was figuring out what my OC was going to be. The songs I got were Weak by AJR, meaning the gender would be male. I got Nonsense by Wonderland Showtime, meaning that they would have long hair. I got I Wanna Run by Mates of State, meaning that their hair would be red and their eyes would be yellow. I got Black Mirror by One Us, meaning that their personality would be based off of being a screen addict. I got Below the Surface by Griffinella, I think, so I decided to give them casual weirdcore style. I got Bad End Night by XHY, so their outfit colors were going to be red, yellow, and black. And then I got Fix You by Coldplay, meaning the name would be Felix. And so now we're going to jump right into the video. So I did not film doing the first or second sketch. I just filmed the line art to save time. So this is what I have so far. This is Felix, not to be confused with Yongbok. He is a screen addict because I based his personality off of Black Mirror by One Us, which is a song about, you know, more of a deep song about like how our phones and screens kind of influence our lives. So I tried to kind of make him look like, the story behind this drawing I thought was maybe he's a bit of a screen addict. He spends a lot of time on his phone and on his computer, and then he's sitting on the subway, and there's that beautiful sunset behind him, and he's kind of thinking about, he's just kind of rethinking his life decisions in this moment. So that's what I decided the story for this drawing was going to be. And I actually decided to give him facial hair, which is something that I hardly ever do in any drawing ever because I hate drawing it so much. But I feel like to give the feel or the vibe that I really wanted for this character, the drawing really needed it. So I think it turned out looking pretty good, actually. And maybe I'll experiment with it more in the future. But yeah, the way I drew him, he looks a little bit like, if he didn't have the facial hair, he would definitely look like a girl. But yeah, I was struggling a little bit with drawing him, so he looks a little bit like a girl. So I plan to do some studies in the future to try and draw different body types better. But for now, I think the drawing still turned out pretty good in the end, besides for the fact that, yeah, he looks like a girl. So the sweater, I wanted to do casual weirdcore because I got Below the Surface, and that's the vibes, like, it gives me weirdcore vibes, but I didn't want to give him a super weirdcore heavy outfit. I wanted it to be more casual, so I just gave him a sweater with a bunch of eyes on it. And the outfit is actually supposed to be, because I got Bad End Night, it's actually supposed to be red, black, and yellow. But I accidentally completely forgot about that. So I made this sweater like a muted green color instead of the colors I was supposed to. So I messed up a little bit on this. But I messed up a little bit. But, it is what it is. And it still turned out in the end. Maybe I will figure out a way to tweak the colors a little bit in the future to make the colors match. But I feel like the green actually goes pretty nice with the color of his hair. I feel like the colors works pretty well together in this drawing, actually. You wouldn't think that, like a fire truck red and a muted green would go well together, but I think they do fit, especially with his vibes. I was struggling a little bit for the perspective of this drawing. It was kind of a weird angle, and I couldn't really, figure out where things were supposed to be and how I was supposed to draw them, but I used a lot of references and figured it out in the end. And I'm sorry, I didn't script it again. I'm going to try to script it for my next video. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get the timing of the script to match with the timing of the video. So if you have any tips for that, please tell me. Please, I need help. Please help me. So I'm talking really fast right now because I'm just trying to... Talking faster is actually going to make it go longer, but I'm trying to think of things to say. so I keep repeating myself, and I'm sorry about that. But back to the drawing. The eyes were so tedious because there were so many of them, and I had to redraw each of them, I think 3 different times, because the sketch, the second sketch, and then the line art. Yeah, so I had to draw each eye 3 different times, and it was a little bit better when I used bucket fill, but it was still a tedious process. But I think they all turned out looking pretty nice. And so about my posting schedule, I'm kind of skipping topics here, but I'm going to try to post every Thursday. I have a few different videos lined up right now. Like, I'm actually filming the voiceover for this, like, Monday, the Monday after I released my latest video, which was on Thursday, I think. And so I'm going to try to get videos out every Thursday. I can't make any promises when it comes to that because I'm a little bit of a procrastinator, and sometimes I can forget things, or I can get really hyped up about something and think that I'm going to be able to stick to a schedule, but then I'm not able to. So I can't make any promises about posting every Thursday, but I'm going to attempt it. Yeah, so still working on the line art for the eyes. This one looks kind of wonky. I don't understand why I needed the 4 lines for the inside of the eyes, but I think it still looks like an eye. But yeah, the sweater I based this off of was actually one I saw on the internet. So I think I just looked up casual weirdcore, and a sweater from Temu popped up or something, and I thought it looked cool and I thought it fit the vibe, so that's what I based the sweater off of. So if you search like casual weirdcore sweater or something like that, you'd probably be able to find it if you want to find it, or if you want to buy it, or if you want to just see what it looks like or something. For the coloring of his hair and his eyes, I actually decided to, I dropped the colors off of the song cover, so that, you know, because the eye color and the hair color were supposed to be based off of the song cover of the song that you got when you put your playlist on shuffle. So then I just color picked them off of there. And then the skin color I just chose myself. And then the sweater color I also chose myself because I forgot about the one that I was supposed to do. And I was trying to figure out, like, did I want it to be a darker green, a sage green? I was trying to figure out what green I wanted it to be, but I ended on this kind of foresty dark green. And I think that it fits really well. So yeah, I had to fill in the sweater and the eyes. Oh, the eyes were so tedious. But yeah, eventually I got it all filled in. I kind of went back and filled in the gaps. And then for the jeans, I did just, you know, the average denim color. And I decided to give him headphones with an S on them. I don't know what the S is supposed to, like, if it's, I think it's probably just supposed to be a brand name. I decided to give his phone an orange case because I just thought that the orange would look good. And then I gave him gold studs. And then moving on to the shading, I don't know why the perspective suddenly changed like that. Okay, I must have flipped my tablet over. But moving on to the shading, I decided to shade the skin with a dark purple on Multiply. That's what I found works best for this type of skin tone, like how Allura in Voltron is shaded. I really like how she's shaded, how her skin tone is shaded in Voltron. It's such a random thing, being an artist and then watching animated shows like that. And then picking out different things about them, or noticing different things about them that other people wouldn't notice. And I do that especially with Voltron because that's where I was very heavily inspired by the Voltron style when I was kind of still figuring out my own art style. So if my art style looks similar to the Voltron style, that's why. Especially when it comes to the noses and the shading. I was very inspired by Voltron when it comes to that. So that was one of my main inspirations when I was still figuring out my style. We're just jumping through a bunch of different topics right now. This voiceover is an absolute mess. Anyways, still shading the skin, I decided to kind of like dot or kind of shade the facial hair too. I don't have much experience with drawing it, but I thought it would work or make it look good or something. And then I went in with doing the blush. I have to say, I really like the lasso tool and the magic wand. I really like the selection tool on Ibis Paint. I think I like it better than the one in Sketchbook because I feel like it will select it better. Like it selects more of what you're trying to select instead of little spaces and stuff, if that makes sense. And I feel like it's just easier to use than the one in Sketchbook personally. And I think for drawing programs, I can't really say I prefer one of the other is what I've decided on because I feel like they both work for different things and for different types of artists. Sketchbook is better for beginners wanting to navigate digital art. Ibis Paint is better for trying, like you're getting more into digital art, getting a little bit more experienced with it, knowing the surface better. It's still user-friendly enough where you can still, it's still easy to navigate, but it has enough things where it can kind of take your art to new heights with the the backgrounds and the different textures and the different brushes. I feel like Ibis Paint is a little bit better for when you get more experienced in digital art. And now we moved on to shading the hair, so I did what I usually do, the darker layer set on multiply, and then the lighter layer to make it kind of look reflective, and then the darkened version of the hair color all the way around. And I tried to make it pretty dark this time because I felt like it fit the vibe better, and I feel like it made it look really good with the really darkened ends. And I also like the orangish kind of colored ends that I did in the bounce light layer. I feel like that kind of just really makes the hair pop more. And then going in with the shading or the highlights for the hair. Doing what I usually do again, kind of trying to keep with the flow of the hair. And then erasing in between the lines to make it look, more like a reflection than wet or like just bam, light in your face. So that's the hair, and I have to say I really like how it turned out with like the really dark red around the entire hair, and then the little highlight of orange at the ends. And now we're moving on to shading the clothing. And real quick, because I'm out of other things to talk about, I want to talk about what's going on like with my art outside of the channel currently. So currently I'm working on doing a watercolor for every day of November. I am like a day behind or something right now, but I'm trying to catch up. That's actually what I'm about to work on after I finish doing this voiceover. And I actually was able to get in with a local art shop. So once I finish actually, drawing them and get them mailed and stuff, I'm going to start selling my prints and stickers there. I am very excited about it. I might start a Redbubble shop depending on if my art does well at the local shop. And if I do start a Redbubble shop, I will link it in the community tab if that happens. But I'm gonna wait to see if my prints and stickers go over well first at the local art shop. So then I was selecting all with the lasso tool to do the airbrush shading and the texture. I really like Ibis Paint for the fact that you can, there's so many assets you can use. I really like the clothing texture assets because I feel like they kind of make the clothes look a little bit more realistic and not just flat. I feel like they kind of, give them more of a realistic feel to them. I keep repeating myself. I'm sorry. This voiceover is a mess. And I've been recording it over the course of 2 weeks. because I don't like to record voiceovers out loud because then I feel like I'm talking to myself, and I feel insane. So I usually do them like when I'm home alone. And I actually decided for this one to do some light shade, like add glow shading on the clothes, and I really liked how that turned out too. So I'll probably continue to use that in the future. And then I was shading the pants, and I just used a dark blue set to multiply. I want to start experimenting with more shading colors. I think I might have mentioned that before, but I want to start experimenting like with dark purples for blues and greens, and I feel like dark purple is usually what kind of translates to all colors well when shading set on multiply. So I kind of want to experiment with it more and what I like best for shading. And then actually for the pants I decided to do kind of a denim texture, and then I put it on Color Dodge. And then I was trying to figure out what that layer did apparently. And then after that I came in with the airbrush shading, and I like how the Color Dodge layer makes it feel more realistic or smooth, I guess. Less choppy, if that makes any sense. So then I was kind of finished with the initial shading, except for there was some stuff I had to finish doing, like the earbuds, which I just did, and then I still had to shade the eyes. The eyes were so fun to shade. They're always fun to shade. I don't know why I always have to say it, because they're always fun to shade. So then I started shading the eyes. I think I actually used an off-white for the white in the eyes this time. Usually I'll use a bright white, but that's kind of like, I know a lot of artists use off-white, and I'm kind of trying to transition into that instead. I don't know why I'm saying so much. I'm sorry, it's probably really annoying. I can't stop. So then I was shading the eyes and doing all the usual, you know, the pupil and the multiply layers and the overlay layers and all that stuff. I like to make them look shiny and chaotic, and I don't know, the eyes are kind of what draws the whole piece together in my opinion, so I like to make them as prominent as possible. I followed a lot of eye tutorials on Pinterest, and so I've kind of mixed them all into one at this point, and that's become how I shade the eyes. If you guys would like to follow my Pinterest, you can comment and tell me, because for some reason my Pinterest is private and I can't get it to come off private, so I have to send the link myself. So if you would like to follow my Pinterest, then please tell me. And then I will put the link in the comments. And then, yeah, shading some random stuff that I had forgotten to shade, like the hair tie and the phone. This was also fun to shade, but kind of difficult, because I wanted to make it, you know, look like it was reflecting, you know, like how phone cases, or how phone screens, I mean, when they're turned off, they're black, but you can also see reflections and stuff in them. So I was trying to make it look like the lights above him were reflecting off of it. And then I did the background off screen and finished the drawing, and the video is about to end, so I have to talk really fast. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.